Welcome to Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by FantasyGuru.com. Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Ray Flowers breaks it all down for you from a fantasy sports perspective. Hey there, everyone. Ray Flowers of FantasyGuru.com. It wouldn't be a first week back from vacation if we didn't have some tech issues. I believe we have them solved, so hopefully you can see me here. Hopefully you can hear me here, and hopefully you're ready to go here over the next hour or so. Myself and Russell Clay will be joining us in about, half an hour. We'll talk baseball and football. Russ and I will talk football. He joins the show every Friday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. On Fridays, I talk the first half hour by myself. On Thursdays, Tyler Beaker joins us about half an hour into the show at 12:30 Eastern Standard Times. I talk baseball the first half hour, football in the second half hour. Wednesday, the next couple of weeks, Justin Fensterman's going to be away. Justin's about ready to welcome his second child, so he'll miss the rest of August. At least that's the expectation at this point. So I'll be rocking and rolling Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday here on the show. Moving forward, we will have Fantasy Bosco, Rich Mileto on Wednesdays at about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Tuesdays, Domain of Armando Marsal. He's on at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. So Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This show, Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by FantasyGuru.com. I always talk baseball for at least the first half hour of the show. Second half, football Tuesday through Friday, And then on Mondays, obviously, that is me solo. All baseball on Mondays is the one day we do that. I am Ray Flowers of FG. You can also find me on the SiriusXM Elite Sports Show. That's Jeff Mann Show, 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. So check that out. I'm with him every Wednesdays from 2 to 5. So yes, that means the next couple of weeks I'll be doing double duty on Wednesdays. I'm answering Discord questions and writing articles for fantasy football over at FantasyGuru.com. I'm answering Discord questions and writing baseball articles over at FantasyGuru.com. Writing seasonal baseball. DFS baseball. We'll have a Raised Plays up later today. Wagering here. Those are going up there as well. Click that subscribe tab in the top right corner of the page at FG. Send a note to support at FantasyGuru.com and get signed up. It's time. Remember, $50. Send a note to support at FantasyGuru.com. $50. Say, I want in, Ray. I want in, Ted. I want in, Jeff. I want to become part of the Elite Mafia for baseball. Seasonal DFS wagering, all of it's one package. You got that. Boom. You're ready to go. Next up, we've got the football product. Right? It's time. It's August. The season starts in a month. It's time to go. We'll talk about some of those news stories here in a brief moment. I'll throw up the schedule here on the screen in a second. It's time to go. You don't want to jump in here, 3 days before your draft and try to scramble around FG and try to read all the articles. You ain't going to make it. I'm just letting you know, you're not going to make it if you do that. There are tons of rankings. Tons of articles. There are 20 podcasts. The 20th podcast just went up today. Russell Clay and I did that one. That one just went up today. There's 20 podcasts. There's the live stream every week on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. There's access to the Discord room to ask all your questions. Different Discord rooms depending upon Keeper League, Dynasty League, Seasonal, all that stuff. We've got so many articles. We've got IDP discussions. We've got rookie discussions. We've got player profiles. We've got rankings for IDP, rookie, dynasty, PPR, non-PPR, best ball. What am I leaving out? I'm sure I'm leaving something out. There, dynasty. I say dynasty. I said dynasty. We'll talk to Russell Clay about that here later in a bit. But the bottom line is we got it all. Today we've got articles that went up. ADP breaking down the NFC East, offensive plays and offensive players. Is there a correlation there? The answer is probably yes. Random tight end thoughts. We'll talk a little bit about a tight end article that Russell Clay recently wrote. Bottom line is now's the time to get signed up. We're heavily into draft season right now, whether you're doing best ball or seasonal or dynasty. We can help you out. Click the subscribe tab in the top right corner. Get signed up over at FantasyGuru.com. If you have any questions, at support at FantasyGuru.com. Here's what we're talking about today on the show. A lot of baseball here again for the next 25 or so minutes. Then we'll talk some football with Russell Clay, as I've noted. Some pitching, mostly some kind of focusing in on pitching. It was light day of games yesterday, but we'll talk also about guys like Ronald, Acuna, and Luis Robert, Bryan, Reynolds, the catching duo with the Braves, which is making some noise. And when Russell comes on, we'll talk about the things are changing here. We'll talk about Jordan Love, and we'll use him as kind of a fool for. He says he wants to run more. What the hell does that mean? We'll talk about it a little bit more. The Chargers offense, they lost their offensive lineman, the best offensive lineman. They just signed to $144 $100+ million contract. I'm forgetting the exact number. Just lost him to a knee injury. We'll talk, what does that do for the passing attack? We'll talk about the addition of Keenan Allen and how that things are changing there with the Chargers. Najee Harris is walking. That's his exercise right now. We'll talk about the Chargers. Things get a little dicey there. We'll talk about the best third down back in the NFL. Well, according to his quarterback, he plays for the Bills. We'll talk about him. What's the deal with RJ Harvey? Running back 5 on the depth chart? Does that mean anything? What do the Vikings do with Jordan Addison out for 3 games with the DUI suspension? Adonai Mitchell. He's flashing in camp. Made a couple of catches last night. Emeka Egbuka. Everyone loves Emeka Egbuka. And then that rookie tight end article that I mentioned earlier with Russell Clay. All right. By the way, I didn't tell you. I don't think I told everyone. I just jumped in and started talking today. Let's see. There we go. What am I talking about? There you go. All that kind of stuff. Remember, you can go to youtube.com/@ElitePlusNetwork to watch the show live. You can go to facebook.com/FantasyGuruHQ. You can also go to Twitter X @FantasyGuru site. Any of those 3 places you can watch live, leave comments, questions, thoughts, all that kind of good stuff. Such as John G here saying, howdy, y'all. Or Angelo saying, yo. You can do that in those 3 places. If you don't get a chance to watch live, you can obviously watch the show on demand at all those 3 places. And obviously, the 2 places you can always catch the show in podcast form. Go to FG, click that Elite Plus tab at the top of the page. It'll take you to the link to this show, One Man's Opinion, Justin Fensterman's Basketball Diaries, Armando Marsal's Mind of Marsal. Check that all out. The Elite Plus tab at the top of the page. And then just type in Fantasy Sports Daily to wherever you listen to podcasts. Wherever you consume them, type in Fantasy Sports Daily. You'll probably find us there. All right, Ronald Acuna update. Acuna's got the calf issue. We know that Austin Riley's down. We know that there's all kinds of injuries on the hill for the Braves. So what's the situation with Acuna? Well, we've talked about this. I think everyone's talked about this. There's no desire, we would think, to rush him back into action when the season for the Braves is over. They're not making the playoffs. But the good news is that the calf injury he's dealing with is a low-level strain. We were told that. Following good news is he actually took batting practice yesterday. So that's really good news. So maybe this 2 to 3 week time frame, maybe it's going to be true, which would be nice. We've had a lot of guys say, hey, it's going to happen, and then it hasn't happened. Looks like it's going to happen with Acuna. And obviously, getting him back for the last 6 weeks, whatever it might be, would be a huge benefit to fantasy squads out there. So, he's probably going to need a few games at the minor league level. Maybe not. So there's a chance that, end of the week, early next week, there's a chance this could happen. I still would be hoping by next weekend. I think that's, in play here too. But the bottom line is Acuna's hitting those benchmarks. Looks like he's doing well. You never know with the setback, but it doesn't look like the Braves are going to stop him from getting back out on the field as soon as he feels good. And that appears to be happening quickly, which is so nice because so many times we have health injury players and it doesn't happen quickly. Let's talk about some pitchers, starting with the teammate of Chris Sale. Let's be very clear about this. I've seen a lot of people say, Chris Sale. He's not eligible to return to August 19th. Okay, so no matter how good any of this goes, what are we at? The 8th today? What's the day? Today's the 8th. He's not good till the 19th. So even if everything's good to go and they want to activate him, the Braves, at that point, they have to wait until that date he was placed on the 60-day injury list. He's out with a rib injury. He admitted that his side was really sore and things weren't going well, but he kind of turned a corner. That he's made significant improvement here. He's been playing catch. He's been ramping things up. Through a bullpen yesterday. Maybe we'll hear something negative today, but nothing negative came out yesterday after that. So here we go, right? Like, it certainly seems like both Acuna and Sale should be back on the field for the Braves by the end of the month at the latest. Sale, obviously, he's a dominant force, and he's got the ability to return to be that same pitcher. At this point in time, we're all in wait and see mode. Obviously, Chris Sale hasn't been dropped by anybody. I don't think anybody. Well, maybe if you don't have an IL list, maybe he was dropped. Shallow league. If that's the case, make the move now to Adam. We don't know exactly when he's going to be back. We don't know if he'll make that August 19th date, but he's definitely moving in the right direction. A rib cage injury, that should be something that, once he's over that, he's over that. We'll hope that's the case, and he's back to pitching here in a couple of weeks for the Braves. Eury Perez, the young phenom who I got to cheer for. I got to admit, I got to cheer for a guy who's built like me. He's tall and lanky. So Eury Perez pitched against those Braves last night. Give up 7 hits, 5 runs, and 5 1/3 innings. Only struck out 1 guy. Sometimes you have a bad effort. Sometimes you don't have your stuff, all these kind of things. that's rough. That was not a great effort for Eury Perez. And nothing I'm about ready to say is going to be shocking to any of you, I don't think. Hopefully it's not. But the fact is, he's really talented. He's been quite effective since he's returned, but he has not pitched up to his previous level. And given the fact that he's coming back from injury, you have to be concerned about yesterday's effort potentially showing a little bit of wear and tear, a little bit of a wear down, I guess a better way to say it, with Eury Perez. A big concern for him to this point, he's made 11 starts. He's only thrown 55 innings. So they've been very good with limiting his overall workload in terms of innings. 23.7% strikeout rate is basically league average. That's not where we expect Eury Perez to be. That's not where Eury Perez should be. And that's a problem because that, this guy should be up at his rookie season was 29%. So we've got a basically league average strikeout rate. We've got a basically league average walk rate. So the fact that he's got a 101 whip is pretty fortunate at this point. He does have a 221 batting average of balls in play, which is not a sustainable number. He has been rather fortunate. And this is something that a guy like, let's point Peyton broad strokes, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer. When you have a fastball and you pitch up in the zone, you get a lot of fly balls. That's great most of the time. But every once in a while, those fly balls turn into home runs. His first season, his home run to fly ball ratio was 12%, very league average number. This year, the number is 7%, way below the league average. Studies are kind of back and forth on this, but at the end of the day, basically a pitcher has no control whether a fly ball is a home run or not, basically. So the majority of the time, all they can control is the number of fly balls they allow, not the number of fly balls that become home runs, basically. So a 7% mark for Eury Perez is way too low. And when you see a 52% fly ball rate, home runs are coming, right? There was 1.5 home run per nine as a rookie. This year it's 0.8. Home runs are coming. And you see that reflective in his 3.25 ERA. When you look at his xFIP, it's 4.5. When you look at his SIERA, it's 4.3. So I think this has been a very positive effort to date for Eury Perez. Effort yesterday is a little concerning, the lack of bat missing, though the lack of bat missing is starting to show itself to be where he's at right now in his recovery. He's looking more like a slightly better than league average pitcher than a dominant pitcher down the stretch. We'll have to continue to monitor him because if he has some struggles here for multiple starts in a row, it's very easy to envision a scenario where the Marlins back off in terms of workload. Maybe they skip him a start, that kind of thing. They're obviously going to be very cautious with him down the stretch. Next up, Taj Bradley. Taj Bradley is now part of the Twins. And, you look at this team. Well, let's first look at Bradley. 1 run, 5 hits, and 6 innings Wednesday. 1 run, 5 hits, and 6 innings. Pitched very well. I didn't walk anybody, which is a big key for Taj Bradley. I'm reading the report here as we're talking here. He has a splitter. Hasn't thrown it much. Threw a ton of them. He threw 13 of them on Wednesday. That's a big number in a 6-inning effort. So basically, it seems like the Twins are trying to diversify Bradley's pitch mix. And this is always the intriguing thing when pitchers change teams. In the old days, we didn't really have access to this information. Now we do with StatCast and Brooks Baseball and all these kind of places. You can chart start to start how many splitters has he thrown, what percentage of pitches are his splitters against lefties, against righties, that kind of thing. So it's always interesting when a player is traded to a new team, especially a guy like Bradley who's had success at the big league level, whose pedigree says this guy should be an every week starter, no problem, but who's been wonky with his previous team. New team gets a guy, their analytics department looks at things a little bit differently than the previous team. They make changes. Maybe the pitcher himself wants to make changes the previous organization wouldn't allow him to do. Sometimes the changes don't work. Sometimes they get worse. Sometimes they get better. So we'll see. The real question for Bradley isn't long-term. Long-term, he's still a very good target. Long-term, he's a very, I'm making a note here, sorry. He's a very good option, a very good addition for the Twins. Short-term, if the Twins have an opportunity in the rotation, is it going to be Emeka Bell or Taj Bradley? I'll lean Bradley slightly. So for those of you in AL-only leagues, I'd lean Bradley if that's a decision to make. The person that has Bradley probably just held on to him when the trade happened anyway. I'd be surprised if they dropped him. We'll see. But pretty good effort there. Pretty heartening from Taj Bradley. Going back to the big leagues, Jacob Lopez did not allow a run in a 7 2/3 inning game against the Nationals with 10 strikeouts. Now, the Nationals, both Abrams and Wood have slowed down of late. Neither one's in a very nice groove right now. That's not a deep lineup to pitch to. You make pitches, you couldn't have success against the Nationals. Still, it's a stellar outing for Jacob Lopez. The 10 strikeouts. He threw 114 pitches, though. Big number. In the old days, now it's a big number. We'll see if they give him an extra day, do the Athletics. We'll see if they skip a start, consider that. But 82 of the 114 pitches were strikes, which is impressive, right? It's a really good mark. So he hasn't allowed a run in his last 2 outings. The ERA is down to 3.6. He's scheduled to face the Rays next. Jacob Lopez is somebody that we've talked about frequently here on the show. I have not been a let's add him and let's roll with him kind of guy. To date, that's been the wrong decision. He's got a 3.6 ERA. His whip is 1.25. He's got a 28% striker rate. He's been average, slightly better than average with the ratios, and impressive with the strikeouts. Is this likely to continue? Well, let's take a little bit of a look here, a little bit of a look-see down the pipe here. We've got the same situation going on here that we were just discussing with Eury Perez. One, we've got a guy with a lot of fly balls, 50+%. Two, he pitches in a park that can allow a lot of home runs. So that's not a good mix, especially now with the weather heating up and everything in Sacramento. 3, his home run to fly ball ratio is 11%. That's league average, so okay. But still, with the extra fly balls that he does allow, that still has him as a 1.3 home run per 9 mark with the opportunity to allow 2 or 3 home runs in any game because of all the fly balls. His walk rate is also league average. So that's not painting a picture of a guy that, we feel excellent about depending upon the matchup. And you look at his work against right-handed batters this year, it's pretty league average. It's not bad by any means. So adding this all up, better than expected from the 27-year-old lefty, way better than I expected, no doubt about that. Last season, overall, he threw, 98 innings. This year, he's at 104 innings. In 2023, he threw 119 innings. In 2022, he didn't throw any innings. So he's right about at that workload limit where he's been the last 3 years as well in terms of the max. All these things, stuff to think about with the A's lefty, but pitching pretty well right now, better than I thought. And the last 2 times out, he's been great. Brady Singer's a guy that I've gotten a lot of questions about. I understand it. There have been moments with Brady Singer's career where he's been bad. There have been moments where he's been good. There's been moments where he's been great. Last night, 4 runs, 6 hits, 3 2/3 innings. That was a bad effort for him. Against the Pirates, who's another team that's not, that's a disappointing effort. Now, you look at his numbers overall, and he's basically got to strike out an inning. About where we're expecting him to be. A 4.5 ERA, 1.35 whip. Those are just not really usable numbers. Those numbers say streaming option. And the concern when he was dealt to the Reds this offseason was pitching at home. Like, we'll be okay on the road, but pitching at home, You look at his numbers, it's been the exact opposite. This is really interesting. A 2.99 WOBA at home, a 3.58 WOBA on the road. Really backwards. And that's concerning to me because it's still a bad place to pitch in Cincinnati, especially in the summertime months. Brady Singer, this is basically who he is. The real issue for him is he's not a big strikeout guy. He's walking not a crazy amount of batters, but a 9.3% walk rate would be a career worse. And when you combine a career high in walk rate and a career low in ground ball rate, it's not as appealing a package. And remember, when this guy started his career, his career number is 1.5 in ground ball to fly ball ratio, which is a very good number. Frequently was right at about 50% the first 4 years of his career in the ground ball mark. This year, the ground ball mark is 36%. And his home run to fly ball ratio is 0.9. That is not a change we want to see, especially pitching in Cincinnati. Very concerned here with Singer and his ability to maintain even the ratios he currently has, which is a little concerning given that they're not very good. Angelo says here, Andrew Abbott appears to be fading and he has the Phillies and Brewers next. Well, we've talked about Abbott a lot, and Abbott was always going to slow. We knew that. We should be all have expected that. His, again, strikeout rate's 21%, below the league average. Doesn't walk a lot of guys, which is good. His walk rate this year is better than it's been the last 2 years, better than the league average. He's a little funky, a little hard to pick up. We've discussed that on the show too. We're talking about his mechanics. But the fact is he's got a 254 batting average of balls in play. He's got an 84% left on base percentage. Those numbers just don't happen over the course of a season. I mean, you got to be Tariq Skubal to do that. And he's no Tariq Skubal. So lots of fly balls here. Lots of fly balls. So that 50% fly ball rate we're talking about. His home run to fly ball ratio is 8%. That number's going to go up. He's been really good. Again, he's another pitcher that if you had ignored my advice 2 months ago, you won because the numbers are really good. But we're also at a scenario where Angelo mentions concerns about matchups. The last couple of times out, he's only given up 2 home runs, but he's walked 7 guys with 4 strikeouts. The end is nigh for him. So anyway, there we go. Good pointing out there, Angelo. Good job. Next up on the pitching tree to discuss here before we talk some football in about 10 minutes with Russell Clay. Jose Alvarado is back in our lives. He's going to begin his minor league. Oh, he began his minor league rehab assignment last night. He's eligible to return on the 19th, that same day as Chris Sale. One would assume, even though he's ineligible to make the postseason, that when he returns, that he'll go right back into the high leverage situation to help the Phillies make the playoffs. Who knows where he's at? Dominant velocity, dominant performer when locked in. Is he going to be locked in when he comes back? I don't know. We just updated the Solds rankings over at fantasyguru.com. Alvarado should be back in our lives in about 10 days. We'll see what his role is, but he's going back into a high leverage role and should get holds even if he's not getting saves for the Phillies. Kyle Harrison, let's talk about Kyle Harrison, who's now with the Red Sox. He was part of the trade way back when. I think it was for Rafael Devers, right? He was part of that trade to the Red Sox. And, we've talked a lot, written a lot about Dustin May and his, struggles and his bleh. The workload's already way higher than anyone anticipated him. I'd be stunned. I was very surprised that the Red Sox made a trade for him, as was pretty much the entire baseball universe. Very stunned by that. Workload's a concern this year in particular because he's not necessarily about breaking down, though that has to be an issue. Just there's no innings on his arm, right? Walker Buehler's been unable to be kind, unable to remotely resemble the pitcher he was before his injury, before his Tommy John surgery, and before years of trying to get back. Would Walker Buehler or Dustin May be removed from the rotation simply because they suck and Kyle Harrison be given an opportunity? Maybe. Would either Walker Buehler or Dustin May get hurt or hit an innings workload pitch limit kind of thing? Very possible. Would Harrison be that next guy up? Maybe. 5 shutout innings yesterday at AAA. He'll get 2 hits, struck out 7. He threw his new cutter. Again, the Red Sox adding a pitch to Harrison that he hadn't really utilized. He's throwing his curveball slower. He's changing the speed a bit up, the shape a little bit different too. So there's been a significant addition. So they're going cutter for more the slider-ish, hard, tight spin, and then going more curve with the slow hump to get a little bit more differentiation, a little more separation in his pitch mix, which has always been something with Harrison that the Giants were trying to unlock as well. So we'll see. Harrison put him on the watch list. He doesn't have the prospect status today that he did 2 or 3 years ago, where everyone thought this guy was going to be like a number 2 pitcher in a big league rotation. Now we're probably thinking of a 4th or 5th guy, like a back end guy versus a front end guy. That's kind of where we're at right now. But maybe the Red Sox are able to unlock that talent that everyone knows is there, and maybe he gets a chance to pitch here down the stretch for the Red Sox. Randy Arozarena, if we talk some offense here for a few minutes, hit a 2-run home run yesterday. I didn't write it down, right? But I had Randy Arozarena discussions with all of you in Discord and articles on this show. I mean, there were probably, 25 people that talked to me about dropping him at some point over the last 4 months. And while I get it, I said every time, this is who he is. Like, I don't know what the expectation is. I don't know what the hope is. But this is who he is. And here we go. He's 2020. This is now 5 straight years ago in 2020. And while that's not the end-all be-all, 5 straight years ago in 2020, he is 4 runs away from adding 70 RBIs. So going 2020 was 70, runs scored. 2020 was 70 runs scored. And he's 3 RBIs away from going 20, 20, 70, 60, 5 years in a row. And that's impressive. And all of a sudden, after this hot stretch here the last month and a half, he's got his OPS up to 817, which would be his best mark since 2020. He had an 815 mark back in 2021. Bottom line is he's hitting leadoff for this team. He's in a nice groove. You got Kyle Raleigh there. They added Suarez, obviously Julio Rodriguez. I mean, this is a pretty good lineup now. And if Rodriguez continues, Arozarena, continues to hit leadoff, as it appears he will, he's not going to score 70 runs. He's going to score 85, 90 runs, right? There's a chance he does that. And with his 2020 performance, he's very likely to go 25-25 for the first time. Just want to give a shout out to Randy because I know a lot of people have been down on him a lot this year, and he's ended up being pretty good. Luis Robert has been a disappointment. We all wanted, hoped, believed he would be traded by the White Sox. The White Sox decided not to do that. Okay. I don't know if that was the right decision. We'll see how it plays out for this organization, but okay. He's 28. He's got club options for the next 2 years. I think it's like $20 million each the next 2 years, something like that. So it's not an outlandish number by any means. His overall numbers still are not good. He's got 31 steals, which is a career best. That's a good number. I think if anyone at the start of the season said Luis Robert would steal 20 bases, they'd be okay, good. 25 bases, love that. 31 bases with the potential to steal 40? He's only played 94 games as well. So he has been terrific on the base pass. Now, the rest of the game, I'll give him this. 45 runs, 46 RBIs in 94 games with this team. Yeah, okay. That's about what you should have expected. Yeah, okay, that's fair. 12 home runs. This guy's got 26 home runs in the last 194 games. 26 home runs in 194 games. He hit 38 home runs in 2023. Batting 226. So after hitting 264 in 2023, he's hit 225 since the start of last season. So on base percentage is 309. These are really bad numbers. But he did have a big game last night. And despite having these struggles, he's been pretty damn good here. The last month, he's actually been better than good. He's been stellar. He's got a 990 OPS. He's got 4 home runs and 9 steals. So Luis Robert is back, baby. Always concerned about injuries with the muscles and all that kind of stuff with him, but he's back in the groove right now. And much like Randy Arozarena, still doing some things. And there's an outside shot that Robert goes 20-40 this year. Pretty crazy. Bryan Reynolds went 2-4 last night, his 11th home run of the season. Bryan Reynolds, Brian, I was really hopeful that Bryan Reynolds would, at the end of the day, be back to where he normally is. In order for him to get back to where he normally is, he's going to have to be a star here down the stretch because though he's been much better than he was at the start of the season, he really dug himself a pretty big hole. He's 9 for his last 29. That's a 350 batting average. Over the last month, hitting 287 with the 740 OPS. That's pretty good. 1 home run, no steals. So Bryan Reynolds, he played through that injury with his triceps. I think it hurt him. He might have been better off just shutting it down for a while. He didn't do that. I'm still hopeful that we get basically a Bryan Reynolds finish. Though even if we get a Bryan Reynolds finish here the final 7 weeks, the numbers are just not going to live up to expectations. And that's unfortunate because he has been so darn consistent over the years. Finally, before we talk that football with Russell Clay, just wanted to talk a little bit about the situation with the backstops of the Braves. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs yesterday for Drake Baldwin. It's not, they have a DH now, so they have the ability to mix and match, do all teams, including the Braves. But look at these two guys' numbers. Baldwin has 289, 81 plate appearances. Murphy, 289. So only 8 plate appearance difference. So they both have almost the exact same number of at-bats. Murphy, who, by the way, his last 150 games has 27 home runs. Murphy has 16 home runs this year. Now, he's only hitting 221, but 16 home runs, 43 RBIs, 29 runs scored. Baldwin, 13 home runs, 46 RBIs, 29 runs scored. These guys have been almost exactly the same. The difference, obviously, being the batting average. There's a 65-point batting average difference, 66. So significant batting average difference. But the counting category numbers are identical. And at the end of the day, if you drafted both these guys, and this is something we did talk about at the start of the season, maybe taking 2 guys from the same team if they're going to play. If you drafted both these guys, you got a 255 hitter with 29 home runs, 99 RBIs, and 58 runs scored. That's not bad if you're in a 2-catcher league. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. But just want to give a shout out to those 2 guys. The Braves continuing to split work with those 2, using some at the DH, and that's working. Speaking of the DH, Brandon A says, keep sitting at Acuna. Oh, boy. Should we keep sitting Acuna? Well, here's the first half of the question. Good morning, Ray. Can you break down from this exciting prospect for the Diamondbacks, Tyler Lockhart? I have him on my radar and might have an opening in my roster if Atlanta keeps sitting Acuna. Brandon, we broke down Tyler Lockhart right after the trade deadline. We talked about him prior to the trade deadline. I added him in my Dynasty League a week before the trade deadline. Lockhart is got a guy, and I think I even wrote about him at fantasyguru.com. Bottom line, quickly, power speed, should play most days. It's nice to see him facing lefties here with the Diamondbacks. He should play down the stretch. If you wanted to go him over Acuna, I don't have a problem with that. Acuna is going to be landlocked as a DH only play in almost every league, so that hurts. He's not going to play on a consistent basis as Acuna. I don't think that's the case unless there's an injury. With the Braves, you look at his performance, it's been, solid the last month. He's got 5 home runs last month. He's also hitting 240 with 9 runs scored and 9 RBIs. I'll take a shot on Locklear. Qualifies at first base, gives you some more flexibility. Certainly brings a speed piece that Acuna does not. Unclear as always with the rookies, whether they started their big league career. But hey, I think it's in this instance, I'm not against making the move at all. Even the last week where Azuna's done well, he's got 11 at bats. He's just not going to play on a daily basis. I'm okay making the move to Locklear, so I hope that helps. All right, so there's our discussion about baseball. Now it's time to talk some football. And every week on the show on Fridays, we talk football with our main man, our dynasty guy at fantasyguru.com, Mr. Pretzel at dynastyguru or fantasyguru.com. The better looking of the two of us, the gentleman with better hair, the gentleman who I think would probably wear shorts. But I've never asked him if he's a shorts guy. I'm going to have to assume he is a shorts guy because it's 100 degrees where he lives and it's 68 degrees where I'm at. So let's bring him in. He's also the host of the live stream every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern time at fantasyguru.com. He's the one and only Russell Clay. Russ, how you doing today, bud?
Ray, I'm good. And yes, I think living in Tucson, you are forced to be a shorts guy at least 80% of the year.
Do you have shorts and khakis? Like, do you even own jeans?
Yes. Okay. So Tucson's a little more casual wearing. I remember coming from Massachusetts where you kind of dress up and wear button ups.
Right.
It's a little more casual out here. So I've kind of shifted to that. But yeah, a lot of shorts, a lot of khaki, like khaki short.
Do you wear suntan lotion or do you just go for it?
We just stay inside, right?
Okay, because I was going to say, you seem like
just a house cat.
You're a little fair-skinned, I think. I would think you might burn a little bit, but you just stay inside.
I have a little Native American in me, about 20% or somewhere around there. Right. The other 80% Scottish. So yeah, we burn bad over here.
My brother married a woman from Ethiopia, and so her daughter always liked to say, "Ray, you're getting sunburned." And I look at her, I'm like, you cheat. You're half black. Like, come on. She goes, so she loves pointing out to me because I'm Nordic with my background and I can burn too. I never burned. You're a cheater. Welcome to the show today. Thank you. Good talking to you. I know we didn't talk last week because I was away on vacation. How was your vacation time away from me? Did you have fun?
I missed you, man. I got used to our Fridays together. It was, I love Fensty, but we're back in our rotation here.
All right, well, let's dive on in. We'll talk to you in a bit about most recent article you wrote about tight ends, but before we get to that, we're kind of at that point where we started to see some games last night, and we're getting all these news reports from camp, and beat writers are saying things, and coaches are saying things, and the players are saying things, and it's tough to know which of it to trust, quote unquote, right? So let's start out with the one at the top, because one of the big things we and everyone else are really focused on this year at the quarterback position is finding mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because the way that the points are recorded in fantasy, the pocket passers have a more difficult time. They just do. Jordan Love's basically a pocket passer, but he said he wants to run more. Does that mean anything to you?
I will say, so most years it's us essentially cautioning everyone to slow down, don't listen to all the news, blah, blah, blah. I saw a graphic yesterday, Ray, of all the starting quarterbacks in the league. At least 15 of them are 25 or under. We're in a really strange, weird season. And we do need news because there is a lot of chaos. I mean, they are professional athletes, but they're also 25 and under men. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's crazy. We have a lot of young men leading entire franchises right now. So when we look at the Anthony Richardsons of the world, who truly is just 23, we look at the Caleb Williams and how he's developing. And I know we're getting off track here, but the news, I am pinned to some of the stuff we're seeing out of early training camp because it is a chaos year.
I was on with Jeff Mans earlier this week on the Elite Sports Shots 2 to 5 Monday through Friday on Sirius XM. And I just randomly, we were talking about passing and the mobile quarterback versus the pocket quarterback. And I just went 15 years back and pulled up 2009, just randomly.
Yeah.
I pulled up again here as you were just talking. You said there are 15, is it 15 guys under 25?
It was something crazy.
Okay. Here, 2009, so this is a long time ago, not really. The top 17 quarterbacks, no, let's see, the top 14 quarterbacks, almost the exact same number you just said. The top 14 quarterbacks in terms of passing yardage. There's a 40-year-old, a 38-year-old, a 33-year-old. There is one quarterback at 26. That's it. Everyone else is 27 or older. So, and the one 26-year-old was Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, Kyle Orton was 27, Ben Roethlisberger was 27, Aaron Rodgers was 26. So the top 14 guys 15 years ago in passing yards, top 14 guys, none of them were 25. And now you're saying half the league that virtually the same numbers under 20. Totally different. And this goes.
So with Jordan
change.
Love,
yeah,
the point you brought up, I'm not sure what this new era of quarterback play is going to look like, but you have to imagine watching Lamar and Josh Allen, like you probably are going to have a little something running.
Oh, I thought you were going to say more.
That's all I got. That's all I got, Ray, on that one.
Well, another scenario to talk about. This guy said he wanted to run a little bit more, and he's athletic. He's not a runner, but he's athletic, and we'd love to see Justin Herbert run more. But let's kind of talk about this whole Chargers offense because there was a lot of changes that have happened this offseason. Some of the news is good. Some of it's really disturbing. We have the eye injury to Najee Harris, and we're getting updates that he's walking laps. Like, I don't know. No one knows what's going on there. A beat writer, I guess, can't talk to him. No one can sit down and have a discussion with this guy and hold a finger up and see if he can see their. I don't know. The big news, though, in the last 24 hours was Sean Slater, who is going to miss the season with a torn patellar injury to his knee. This is a huge loss for the run game, for the pass game. He's one of the best offensive tackles in all of football. What does Slater's loss do for you in general? Because it's like, Hampton's flying up draft boards and everyone loves Lad McConkey. Like, do we pull back a little bit? Do we pull back a lot? Is this something to just temper expectations? What do we do when we lose this significant of an offensive lineman?
So it's funny because literally this morning I put out a post of cool content, some of which we have on the site, but the main one for today, the only one for today was the offensive line breakdown. Because I'm not, I don't know the offensive line through and through. But I know Rashawn Slater, that's a big name, former first-round pick, and really one of the main guys on that offense. I mean, that's a huge blow. So I think we'd be silly to not take that really serious. And I don't know if we're going to tick down that offense too much. I think they'll be able to figure it out because of all the talent. But, I mean, I think we all have to look at that and say, okay, maybe we should tick down Omari in a bit. And the Najee, Najee Harris, we think of him as an Alabama running back.
Right.
He's an eloquent guy in interviews and, has never been afraid of the microphone. So the fact that they can't get him on record anywhere, he's a pirate at this point, Ray.
It's bizarre. Like, I don't... it's the Super Bowl. You don't want to let the opponent know if he's going to be on the field. I get it. It's a preseason. Like, there's no competitive advantage anyone's gaining. I just don't get it. So hopefully he's okay. Doesn't sound like he's okay, but hopefully he's okay. We talked about my Dynasty League team a couple months ago or something like that. We went through it. You can find it for those that look and go to youtube.com/@ElitePlusNetwork. Find the live tab at the top. Click on that. Scroll down until you see Jason Voorhees, because that's the day that I talked about my Dynasty team. And in that 45-round IDP full Dynasty draft that we did, startup, in the 43rd round, I took Keenan Allen.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Keenan Allen signs with the Chargers. We were just talking about it. 1 year, $8.5 million. Obviously, he's worked with Herbert before. Obviously, has had tremendous success here with the Chargers. Who is Keenan Allen this year, and what does his signing do for Lad McConkey?
Keenan Allen knows the system-ish. He knows Justin Herbert. That's the important thing. They can make it work. Is he what Keenan Allen was 5 years ago? No. But, even with McConkey there, I don't think he's threatening McConkey's role.
Okay.
But I see PPR upside potentially. And, it's the funny thing about Dynasty because he'll never have market value again. But when he's scoring 10 points per game and McConkey gets banged up, he's going to be really valuable as a 43rd round pick. So we like that. And in terms of Allen himself, I mean, he's in a different phase of his career, but we saw Adam Thielen last year walk into Carolina and be really great fantasy wise. So like it.
Quentin Johnston, Trey Harris, downgrade for 2025?
Always were upside shots to begin with. I was never really solidified. I mean, I wanted to cape up for Quentin Johnston, but he's made it difficult the last couple years. So we're taking shots on QJ and Trey Harris, but nothing this year that excites me too much.
Russell Clay of fantasyguru.com joins every Friday at about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. The best third down back in football. All the teams, all the land. According to Josh Allen, it's Ty Johnson. Now, there is a line of thought that when you're league MVP, you get what you want. And I think there's some truth to that. Who is Ty Johnson? Is Ty Johnson draftable? Does anyone care? Is this a concern for James Cook? Is this a concern for Ray Davis? Because we know who Ty Johnson is schematically. But when your quarterback's saying you're the best third down back in football, it almost seems like it's a fait accompli. You're going to be on the field on third downs.
He's played well, and he's, undrafted free agent out of Maryland, was a size speed guy. Carved out a nice NFL career for, an undrafted guy, and obviously made an impact in the locker room there, played well in the playoffs. So yeah, I could see him being on the field. Ultimately the James Cook thing, people don't like James Cook, and I get it because the role does not look like it would be a top 10 running back. Right. So I don't blame anyone. Most people, even I like James Cook. You watch it week to week and you go, there's no way. The only reason this works is because of Josh Allen in the first place. So it's a really weird fantasy running back situation. So I like James Cook. But again, all the people that don't like him, it all makes sense. Like, yeah.
I mean, he barely had 200 carries last year, and he actually had 30 fewer carries last year than the year before. You see the 16 touchdowns. Everyone knows that number is not going to be repeated. Don't forget, he scored 4 rushing touchdowns his first 2 years. Like, he's a really... I haven't drafted James Cook in a single league. Plus the concerns about the money and stuff. Russell Clay at fantasyguru.com. What about the situation? Here's another preseason scenario. RJ Harvey, no one cared about. Then everyone really started to care about RJ Harvey. Then J.K. Dobbins signed and no one started caring about RJ Harvey. Now RJ Harvey's a 5th string running back. He's not going to make the team. Is now a good time to buy RJ Harvey? People are buying that report?
Okay. So I have two different... I have a redraft take and I have a dynasty take.
Perfect.
Dynasty, nothing changes.
Okay.
We're not flinching. We're not moving off our post. We like RJ Harvey. I like him with Sean Payton and Bo Nix. I'm locked.
Okay.
However, I have been bit by staying highly convicted when the 5th string stuff comes out. And, Melvin Gordon in year 1's my example I always use.
Okay.
But there were rumblings early on like, hey, this Danny Woodhead might be a problem. And I just ignored it. And then midseason, I'm like, what are they doing? And that fury and rage is not easily forgotten, Ray. So I do wonder if McLaughlin and Estime and Dobbins and maybe they are going to mess around year one a little like they have the last couple years. So I do think they have their guy,
Okay.
but I'm slightly worried.
Okay.
I'm a little worried for redraft. Yeah.
Fair. I think that's fair. Russell Clay of fantasyguru.com. Jordan Addison suspended 3 games for violating substance abuse policy with the Vikings. So this is a 2-part question with him. We got a lot of things going on with the Vikings. What are they going to do in the backfield? Is Justin Jefferson going to be healthy? How's their rookie quarterback going to fare at his first NFL start, season, all that kind of stuff? What is the value of Addison now that he's missing 3 games? Did you always kind of expect 2 or 3 games, so it hasn't really changed for you, or has it changed for you? And secondarily, Jalen Naylor,
Yep.
is he worth drafting? Is it, who cares? It's only the first couple of games. What do you think?
I'm at the point with the Minnesota franchise where whatever they're doing, I'm generally trusting.
Okay.
I've been skeptical of them, and that's been a bad recipe the last 3 to 5 years. They are really crushing it in all aspects. That's why I wouldn't be in on JJ McCarthy, but I am because I love the coaching staff and infrastructure. Considering that, Jalen Naylor, not a guy I would historically be interested in at all.
Mm-hmm.
But those first 3 weeks, I'm watching that pretty closely. They did draft Ty Felton, 3rd rounder out of Maryland. Not a guy I was particularly interested in, but they like him, so we got to pay attention. That is my thoughts there. So Felton's the upside, but probably going to be Naylor.
Russ, what about the wide receiver who caught 2 passes last night? He had 6 targets in the preseason. We've talked about Adonai Mitchell before, and last season was a disappointment. Variety of reasons for it, but it was a disappointment. Again, 6 targets last night. We're hearing that a lot of the beat writers are saying, look, this guy's looking good. I'm hearing some whispers. People are impressed here. We got Anthony Richardson who had the finger issue. Apparently it's going to be okay. It's not a big deal for Anthony Richardson. Adonai Mitchell, what scenario does he matter in 2025? Is there a scenario where he matters in 2025? Is he still worth targeting or holding on to in dynasty leagues? What do you think with the wideout?
The Colts are hoarding all the like low end monopoly properties with their wide receivers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They don't have any hotels. They just have one on each of the low end. I mean, I like AD Mitchell, but why'd they pick him in the 2nd round when they have Pittman and Downs and Alec Pierce? It doesn't make a lot of sense for me why they have drafted so many receivers so high. And then they draft Tyler Warren round 1 this year. So even if he does develop, where's the fit? And then they have AR. So they have this run first, like at his best, AR's I don't even know, like a Cam Newton-y type of running back, quarterback guy. And he's not a high volume passer. So why did they draft 4 receivers back to back to back so high? So AD Mitchell looks better. Not sure how much it matters. And then if Danny Dimes is in, I think it's going to be Downs and Pittman.
What about the scenario as we move on to another wide receiver spot where you look at the Tampa Bay, and ideally Tampa Bay's 3rd is McMillan, their 2nd is Godwin, their 1st is Evans. Well, Evans is aging and he's had a lot of soft tissue injuries. Godwin's coming back from injury and surgery, and it's unclear if he's going to be ready to go for week 1. They went out and they drafted Emeka Egbuka, and I don't know if he's Mr. Helium this spring, but every time I open up social media, there's something about him, right? It's everywhere. Emeka Egbuka, is he the 2 here? Is he the 3 here? Is he exciting to you? Is it all dependent upon the health of Godwin and Evans? Is McMillan useless in 2025? Talk us through the entire receiving core there with the Bucs, focus specifically on Egbuka.
So the McMillan pick last year was a Mike Evans hedge, and the Egbuka pick this year was a Chris Godwin hedge. And their problem right now is seemingly all 4 are relatively healthy. I know Godwin may miss some time at the beginning of the year. probably going to be ready. The issue they're going to run into is they may not be able to keep Egbuka off the field. Excellent wide receiver prospect out of Ohio State. And the only reason he didn't get more boost is because at Ohio State, their depth chart was comparable to the Buccaneers depth chart. They had like 5 first-round picks.
Right.
I mean, we know them all now, the Garrett Wilsons, Olaves, JSNs. They got this kid, Jeremiah Smith, coming up. I mean, there's just so many that he maybe didn't get quite the hype he would have. So if he's amazing, it would not shock me at all right away. And if Baker locks in on him early, this may be a league winner. So just keep that. You don't have to draft him like he's a league winner, but draft him late. And if Evans and Godwin are healthy all year, then it's okay. But yeah, huge upside there.
Yeah, Evans and Godwin probably won't be healthy all year long.
Right.
Probably. You never know, but probably. Moving on from all those young receivers, let's talk a little bit about young tight ends. Now, you've been writing a series of articles with graphs and charts and all this kind of stuff over at fantasyguru.com. Most recent one is rookie expectations for the tight end. Give us a big takeaway from the article, right? Like, there's a couple of guys and ignore the position. It happens randomly every once in a while. Who cares? Tyler Warren's got a great chance to do it because Brock Bowers did it. Give me a takeaway from the rookie expectation article, because traditionally, Russ, the easy fallback position is there's randomly a guy every 5 years at the tight end position that hits as a rookie. But most of the time, it's late in the year, if anything, and they're usually, none of them are top 10 when the season's over.
The takeaway is that there will not be a Brock Bowers again for a very long time. Okay. And we can't set ourselves up for that. And it looks like everyone's being pretty responsible with the Tyler Warrens and Colston Lovelands. I'd imagine there's probably 1 or 2 that get above 500 yards this year. But again, what is that? Like the article mainly talks about, all right, we have these like basic, can they get above this? If they do, yes. But if a tight end gets above 500 yards, that doesn't actually mean they're a guy we want in our fantasy lineup. So it's a really low probability, even for first round tight ends in year 1. This is a fantastic tight end class. Long term, we're going to get 5 or 6 long-term starters out of this class, especially those second rounders. Terrence Ferguson, Elijah Arroyo, and Mason Taylor. That is like really, really high quality stuff there. Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, both go to really great situations. So overall, this class is amazing. But Ray, as you said, year 1 is just, for tight ends, they have way more to do than just a wide receiver or a running back who's getting in there and getting rushing attempts. They have to block. They have way more assignments. So there's no guarantee. I will say you can take shots in best ball in the late rounds, but if I'm drafting today, there's not one that I'm like locked in will be a contributor in year 1.
Russell Clay at fantasyguru.com. Another bit of news that just came out this morning, just to float by here. Tyreek Hill, who we've all talked about Tyreek Hill and the expectations of Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill was talking to the press last week and basically said Devon Achane sucks in short yardage. Great teammate. I love how he went out in the media and bashed his teammate. And now he's dealing with an oblique injury. He's missing more practice time. I'll ask you again, because I'm out on Tyreek Hill. I'll ask you again. Are you out on Tyreek Hill? Is this, I mean, last year it was bad based upon expectations. Is this year it goes really bad, or is there still one year before swan song for Tyreek Hill?
It's he's a great streamer. He's great at social media. He's doing great at all that stuff. He's also 31. He's also made almost $100 million in his career, or somewhere close to that at this point. My stance all off season and sort of towards the end of last year is how much I know he's still good, but how much does he actually care? And it sounds like a silly narrative take, but when you look at Antonio Brown, you look at Julio Jones, you look at AJ Green, almost that entire generation disappeared almost instantly at 30. And I do wonder if Tyreek has, maybe not the talent hasn't fully left, but maybe he just doesn't need to get 1,700 yards anymore.
By the way, we talked earlier about Anthony Richardson just got another update. The finger issue that he had last night, it's not a big deal. He might even be back at practice on the weekend. So looks like Anthony Richardson's okay.
Good.
I
want Daniel Jones to beat him out straight up.
Oh, there you go. Right.
I don't need
to hand it the job. For those of you watching the show live or even on demand, you can see there on the screen too. We don't ever mention this, by the way. We do have a store. So if you want to go and buy some Julius Pepperwood gear or some other stuff, fantasyguru.com.selfie.store. That's fantasyguru.com-sell, SELFY .store, STORE. If you want to buy some stuff. Russ, you're nodding your head there. You think the folks out there should get some swag?
I had that tab open a few days ago and might have to make a purchase this weekend. So yeah, we're looking at our own little merch over here. So yeah, you guys should too.
Russell Clay of fantasyguru.com joins us every Friday at about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. We mentioned he's on the show. We mentioned he's on the live stream every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We talked about his most recent article. What's up next for you? You got your draft book coming here?
The draft book is out.
It is
as
out.
Of yesterday. Our auction draft books are out. I also have a training camp report coming out in about an hour. So that'll be good. And then next week, I'm going to get wide receiver expectations out, and that'll be cleaning up that. So we got a lot of stuff, Ray. We're mid-season in the off season here.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much how it normally is, right? Like I tell people all the time, I was said earlier in the show today, it's like, don't sign up in 10 days when your draft is in 14 days. Like you need more than a couple of, there's so much data here. You're going to miss out if you don't, again, not everyone's going to subscribe. That's okay. But if you're going to subscribe, do it now because there is just so much, there's hundreds, I'm making stuff up, hundreds of articles that have come out since the end of last season. Right.
There's stuff I'm just looking at now, like the offensive line breakdown, the manifesto, a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So check it out. Hit that subscribe tab in the top right corner, folks. Send a note to support@fantasyguru.com if you've got any questions. Get my work, get Russ's work. The entire team's there at fantasyguru.com. Russ, thanks for hopping on today. We'll talk to you next Friday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. You have a great weekend, and good luck with the shorts and staying away from the burning sunlight.
Thanks, Ray. He's
Russell Clay. I'm Ray Flowers. We'll be back here on Monday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Remember, next week, I'll be hosting all 5 days. Justin Fenster will be out of commission for a couple of weeks with the birth of his child. So it'll be me and you 5 days next week. So stay tuned for that starting on Monday. For Russ, I'm Ray. It's been Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by fantasyguru.com.